When you make your first feature film, you're going to be tempted to spend a lot of money on things, and a lot of those things that you spend your money on are going to be waste of money. So in this video, I'm going to go through the 6 things that I think are actually a waste of money when you're making your first feature film. My name is Jenkins. I am a filmmaker and a musician with over 20 years of experience in the entertainment industry. And I believe that every filmmaker is a studio, and I make these videos to help you think more like a studio head to greenlight your own projects. So I just shot my first feature film for not a lot of money. And these are things that I either didn't spend my money on or will not be spending my money on relative to this first feature film. So let's get started. I've got some notes here that I'm going to reference, and then I've also got this whiteboard. I'm sitting down because my office is currently in the state of being renovated, and things aren't really looking good right now. But in future videos, it'll get better and better and better and better. So here we go. The first thing that you shouldn't spend money on your first feature film is expensive camera gear. Now, what I mean by this is that you should use the camera that you have for your first feature film, because the main focus of your feature film is to tell a good story and to learn to work with actors, to learn how to get performances from actors and tell a great story. And cameras are important. Film is a visual medium. But if all you have is an iPhone or all you have is a DSLR, just use those, man. Because if you think that you have to have a cinema camera to shoot a meaningful film, first of all, you're wrong. And second of all, you're going to be spending, 5 figures potentially on when the setup's all said and done. And then you're going to have to either use the RAM in your brain on the day to learn how to, manage this new camera, or you have to find someone else to manage the camera for you, and that just costs more in time and money than you need to spend. So for me, the first feature film that I shot last year, I just had this Sony 4K camcorder that I didn't even know was going to be the camera that I was going to use for the feature film. But when I decided to shoot a feature film in this limited time window, that was the best camera that I had on hand. So that's the camera that I used. It's not the camera that I'm going to use in the future. It's not the camera that I would have liked to have used if I had any choice of camera, but it's the camera that I had. If you have a cinema camera already, then use it. But if you only have an iPhone, just use that. So that's the one thing I would say is, it's a waste of money. The second thing that you shouldn't spend your money on is office expenses. And what I mean by this is any physical administrative object like a pen or a notebook or paper or binders. You don't need those things. Usually, when we're trying to do something we've never done before, we want to kind of squash any imposter syndrome we might have. So we may go out and we may buy things or do things that we need to do to convince ourselves that we're being professional. And let me assure you, just because you print out your screenplay, print out 10 or 15 copies of your screenplay for all your actors, does not mean that you're going to make a better movie. It just means that you're going to spend about $100 on something that they could just download themselves. And if they want to print it themselves, they can print it on their dime. So anything like, again, notebooks, pens, staplers, anything like that, just don't spend money on it. Just do everything digitally. And if someone, how do I say this, man? It's okay to be stingy for this first film, because the whole point is just to get it done. So you don't have to be professional in that regard. I mean, like, obviously when you have the money and you can afford more office supplies, go for it. But this, man, it will suck up your time. And, I used pens on my first film, but I had pens already. I had notebooks already. And honestly, I didn't really end up using them when we shot the film. I kind of used digital spreadsheets, and I had everything in my head. I would prep everything in my head and just kind of go, 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 go. So office expenses, you don't need them. And So before I go on, I want to ask you for a favor. If you would subscribe to this channel, because this channel is new, it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, but it helps me immensely because I'm trying to get to my next milestone of subscribers. I want to provide as much value as I can to aspiring filmmakers. The reason that I don't do any fancy edits is because I want to spend the most time as I can working on my films and developing my films. So if I can distill the value of these videos into the simplest way possible, and I'm still trying to figure that out, that's my goal. That's why it's not shoom, 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 text, blah, 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 because I want to be as authentic and as valuable as possible in the simplest way possible. So if that is something that makes sense to you and you understand it and you want to see what this journey unfolds over the next 6 months to a year, multiple years, then subscribe to my channel, please. It really would mean a lot. So let's get to this next one. Now, I never said that these were going to be non-controversial things that I'm going to say not to spend money on, but the third thing that I don't think you should spend money on are film festivals. Why? Why should you not spend money on film festivals? Because most of them won't do anything for your career. Most of them are just businesses to collect entry fee money so they can keep running their business. And the promotion that you get from an average film festival is zero to just about this much, because your first film is probably not going to garner a lot of acclaim, and that's okay. And you're going to end up spending thousands of dollars on entry fees for films that probably won't make the film festivals that you should get into if you, or that you would actually benefit from getting into if you submitted to them. If you submit to like some lowly film festival, just any old film festival, you might meet a couple people, you might get your film seen, but you got to pay for the entry fee, you got to pay for the flight, you got to pay for the hotel, you got to pay for food, when you probably would get more people to see your film if you just crafted a really great rollout over YouTube or something. I know people who have had their films seen by 10 to 20 times more people than ever would have been seen on the festival circuit because they uploaded it to YouTube, and that got them more opportunities because it was about the viewers and the people who reacted to it. Now, this is, again, it's controversial because some people feel that film festivals are a good way to network and to develop business relationships, and that's all well and good, but it probably is not going to happen on your first film, and the best, it's probably going to be someone who says, that was great, man, let me know when you make your next one, which means that, like, show me when you can actually, make something that's going to make me money. And it probably won't be your first one. So I would save the money on the film festival entry fees and put that towards something else. Now, having said that, I have to interject this. There's probably going to be a few of you who, maybe 1 out of 1,000, who makes a film that actually is a gem, that actually does stuff, come on, use your words, Kurt, that actually gains momentum and just blows people's minds. And those types of films are rare, but they do happen. So I'm not trying to be a doomer and tell you to give up hope. I'm just trying to get you to be realistic. If you have people in your life that are going to be honest with you about the quality of your film, or maybe you're already kind of in the industry and you have industry contacts and you make this first film, this sort of no budget film, and it actually gains momentum from people who can do something with it, then yeah, ride the wave. Like, absolutely ride the wave, but just don't try to surf on gravel. So what's this next one here? Come on. Okay, yeah, so this next one, this kind of goes hand in hand with the film festival, because the question is, well, if you're not gonna submit to a film festival, then how do people know about your film? And so some people tend to make the mistake of hiring a marketing agency or a social media firm to promote their film on their behalf. And this, again, is a bad idea. Why? Because 9 times out of 10, these companies, these marketing agencies, are not going to have any incentive to deliver you real results. I know plenty of people who have paid money to marketing agencies and they're like, we'll get you views. And then they get them views, and then those views don't convert to actual like influence or money or any recouping of the cost of the film that they made. And that's sort of their model. They want to do good. Most marketing firms want to do good work on the surface to make it seem like they're getting all this attention, but most of the metrics that they track are vanity metrics that don't actually convert to anything meaningful in terms of a business plan for a filmmaker to like not continue to go into debt. You want people to buy tickets, you want people to buy physical copies of your movie, you want to get licensing deals. However you profit from your film, these companies don't really care about that. They just want to get paid and get you the vanity metrics that are going to make you feel satisfied that you didn't waste your money. So what you should do instead is learn marketing, learn branding, and learn how these things are done so that you can do them yourself and you can design the campaigns yourself, or you can hire someone to do it on your behalf and you'll know enough about the process to be able to tell them exactly what you want and pay them only if they deliver. So learn marketing, learn social media content creation, learn branding. That's how you actually like save money in the long run. And you'll get more people to watch your film and maybe even squeak out a profit. So this next one, and this is one that I abided by very strictly, is do not pay people money for permits or locations. Now, I'm going to preface this by I'm not advocating that you do anything that's against the law or that you do anything that's against the rules of a business, government, or community. Having said that, for your first feature film, you should focus on using the locations that you have access to or that you can get access to for free. That's why so many no-budget films are shot in people's apartments because they don't have to ask anybody's permission to do it. They just do it. There are more ambitious feature films that have shot in locations that are more public. I was very ambitious with the locations that I shot for my feature film, and the downside of being extremely ambitious with locations, ambitious meaning like not getting permission, is that you have to do a lot of legal work on the back end. Because I didn't get permission for certain things that I did, I have to make sure that I'm able to find a way to like kind of get through some loopholes to make sure that I don't get a cease and desist letter or to make sure that I can even screen my film in public. So that is the warning and that is the trade-off between getting ambitious locations. But for your sake, if when you build your story, again, my whole thesis for making your first feature film is making a film that only you can tell. And the locations should be locations that are under photographed in your hometown or the city that you live in. They should be locations that are not beneficial, that are meaningful to you, therefore being meaningful to your audience, and locations that you can get without paying any money. I'm starting to repeat myself, but if you can get a permit for free, then do that because that will cover you if the cops come, if sort of any kind of business organization comes, you can be like, I got a permit, suck it. Same goes for locations. But if someone's charging a fee or if someone wants you to jump through all these hoops or limit what you're able to do with that location, it's a no-go. You should, because you're so small, you should be able to fully express yourself in whatever way you want. And if that means having to change your location, then so be it. Do not compromise your artistic vision because of somebody's location. You're not that high in the hierarchy to have to like navigate that kind of bureaucracy. Or you could just steal a shot or two. It's okay if you do that. Just don't break any laws while you're doing it. Only break one law at a time. Or excuse me, let me cut that. Only break one rule at a time. If you're going to steal a shot at a location, then don't break a rule. You know what I mean? Don't break two rules at once. Just break one rule at a time, and you should be fine. Or Tell them that you're filming something for social media, because for some reason, if you tell people that you're shooting like a social media video, then they don't care. But as soon as you tell them you're shooting a film, it's this like big deal. And for some reason, our society doesn't really like respect um, social media production. So just say you're shooting social media content, and everyone will leave you alone for the most part. There's always going to be a Karen or two, but don't worry about that. So the sixth thing that you should not spend money on, and again, this is probably the most paradoxical one of the entire video, because you should not spend any money on your movie. And what I mean by this is, of course, you're going to spend money on your movie. It's actually very hard not to spend any money on a movie. Like, I mean, 1 cent on a movie. You're gonna spend money on a movie. But what I mean by this is this goes back to the office expenses one. You're making a movie, you want to feel good about doing what you're doing. So you justify expenses to make the project that you're doing feel worthwhile. Find people who are willing to help you for free. And that's not exploitation. That is leveraging your passion. Because let me tell you, if you make a story that you love, that you're fired up about, that only you can tell, and you've got to tell it like your life depends on it, people are going to want to work for free because they want to be a part of something. People want something to follow. They want leaders. They yearn for leadership. And so if you can be that leader in your little world and sort of build a vision and sell that vision to people who are willing to help, you're not going to have to spend any money. You'll be amazed at how willing people are to donate their time, products, and services to help you get your vision made. It's amazing how that happens. But what it means is that you have to be kind, you have to be empathetic, you have to understand that people are donating, and so you have to respect the help that they're giving you. You have to respect what they're sacrificing to help you. And so obviously be kind, do good business, never burn any bridges, but like don't spend any money on anything. That's what I tried to do. And I never had to worry about it. I never had to like worry about like, oh my God, am I exploiting people? Because people are like, I want to help, please. Now, where's the room? Where do I have room here? So, okay. Can you see this? Yeah, okay. So now I went through all this, and I want to give you a little glimmer of something here, because this is kind of maybe controversial to some. You may be thinking, well, what the hell? How do I even make a movie by not spending any money on anything? Let me be realistic here. You're going to spend money, like I said. What you should actually spend money on, there are 4 things that I'm going to lay out here that you should actually spend money on. Keep it, conservative, but spend money on if you have to. And the first one is sound. Sound. You have to spend money on, or you have to have proper sound equipment. If no one can hear what the actors are saying, then no one's going to understand what's happening in the movie. Despite the fact that film is a visual medium, you're going to have to, hear what people are saying. Now, what you use for sound is going to depend on the context of the story that you want to tell. Whether it's a lavalier mic, whether it's a boom mic, whether it's, I don't know, a border mic or whatever. You decide what to spend money on. Just make sure that your actors are crystal clear and can be heard. Whatever money you have to spend on that, spend on that. Or if you already have it, mazel tov. The second thing is craft services. Now, if people are donating their time, products, and services, the very least that you can have is some food for them and drink. At the bare minimum, some healthy snacks, tea and coffee, and water. At the bare minimum. If you have people, like local restaurants or people who are willing to cook and provide food for your film, even better. Again, sell people the vision, get the momentum, be a leader, persuade people to give you this. But at the bare minimum, you should have snacks, tea, water, and coffee. Yeah, and the food that you do serve people should be healthy. It shouldn't just be pizza, because pizza is like one of the worst foods you can eat, and it's going to slow people down. It's going to degrade their decision making, and you're not going to be as productive, and you're not going to be as creative if you're serving people crap food. So whatever food you do serve them, have it be healthy-ish. And the third thing that I would recommend spending money on is a wrap party. Now, the reason I say this, and again, this doesn't have to be, you know, New Year's Eve at the Playboy Mansion, but the wrap party should be a reward for the work that people do. And especially if people working for free, they're going to want some sort of release from, and some sort of like, I guess, justification for the work that they did. Um, you're going to want to congratulate yourself, because shooting your first feature film is one of the most amazing artistic achievements that you'll ever have in your entire career. And it might be that way for other people too. And so you want to reward people for that. And so just, I don't know, man, do what you want to do. Whatever your community likes to do to blow off steam, then do that, and just tailor it to the people that are working with you, and just make it nice, make it fun, you know? And the final thing that I'd recommend actually spending money on is a release party. Now, it's the same template, uh, the same release patty. It's the same template as the wrap party. Base it around the people that you're working with. Have it, if you can get a theater, like a local theater or some place to rent out for free or cheap, like a local library or a local theater, do that. But if it has to be in your home, that's fine too. You can control the environment a little bit more. But people want to see the product of their work, and have this release party before any other release. Show this to them well before you release it to the public, because it's going to get that. They're going to get that feeling of seeing something that no one else has seen. They're going to see the hard work that they put into it, and I guarantee they're going to love it. Even if it's not great, they're going to love it because they put their heart and soul into it. So yeah, man, do that. Get a projector, rent a projector, snacks, music, whole 9 yards, give a speech, hip hip hooray, all that thing, and reward people by showing them what they worked so hard on. And that's what I would recommend for you to actually spend money on. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching this video. Again, if you want to continue the journey and seeing how my debut feature film unfolds, and follow along with the journey, and also get a little bit more tidbits about how you can be a better indie filmmaker, and maybe help making your first feature film, then you know what to do. I don't got to tell you what to do. This is YouTube in 2025. You know all the buttons to push, and I hope you push them all. So anyway, my name is Kurt Jenkins, and I will see you on the next video.